So a little bit behind the eight ball, but no further time to delay. Let's talk about the week that was week 5 of the 2019 NFL season. And we'll start off on Thursday night, where Russell Wilson had 4 touchdown passes and helped the Seahawks hold off the Los Angeles Rams 30-29. Switching over to the Sunday action, Kyler Murray runs for 93 yards and a touchdown, gets his first win along with Cliff Kingsbury's first win as an NFL head coach as the Cardinals go into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals 26-23. Oh, the Bungles are back, baby. Josh Allen throws for 2 touchdown passes. The Bills win ugly yet again, which is probably going to be a theme that carries them all the way to the playoffs, now sitting at 4-1, beating the Tennessee Titans 14-7. And what is the deal and what is the story with this year's Titans team? I just don't know. Speaking of I just don't know what the hell happened to the Bears on Sunday. That was embarrassing. All that talk about their dominant defense in week 4, apparently their defense decided they were never going to leave Soldier Field and go with the team to London. Raiders came out of the gate strong, came back late, ended up winning 24-21, and they deserved it. Talk all the trash you want, because those Bear fans deserve to eat it and like the taste of it. Touchdown Teddy! Teddy Bridgewater! It's like one of those guys that you just want to root for, isn't he? Threw for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Saints beat the Bucs 31-24. And all of a sudden the Saints are starting to look like a real deal legit team. And they don't even have the first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback back in the fold yet. But Teddy Bridgewater validating his decision to stay in New Orleans and New Orleans' decision to keep him around. Kid Cousins found his groove as the Vikings smashed the Giants 28-10. The Eagles get 2 defensive touchdowns and avoid catching mono from Sam Darnold. They smash the Jets 31-6. And the Jets are coming, baby, for that number 1 overall pick. The Ravens overcome a bad day from Lamar Jackson, who had 3 turnovers. They get an overtime turnover force themselves, beat the hapless and hurt Steelers 26-23. Good Lord. Oh, it's getting ugly really quickly. Tom Brady throws for just an easy 348 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Patriots send Jay Gruden, not John Gruden, excuse me, he actually wins games in the NFL, send Jay Gruden packing in his final game as Redskins head coach. Patriots smash the Skins 33-7. That's what the hell you get for starting Colt McCoy, you idiots. Another monster day by potential early season MVP candidate Christian McCaffrey stops the Minshew magic of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Panthers win 34-27 after starting off 0-2. Now the Panthers are coming. They've won 3 in a row. Impressive stuff. The Falcons defense rolled over for Deshaun Watson. They're rolling over for just about anybody now. And that Texans offense, Houston puts up a big one. They win 53-32. The Broncos jump out strong, have just enough in the tank to hold off the Chargers for their first win of the season under Vic Fangio, their new head coach, beating the Chargers 20-13, and all of a sudden the Chargers, a team that a lot of people had expectations for, sitting at 2-3 and wondering what the hell is going wrong so quickly. The Packers came out of the gate incredibly strong late Sunday afternoon in Dallas, 24 unanswered points to start off the game. Did more than enough to hold on and beat the Cowboys 34-24, and frankly, the game wasn't even that close, no matter how much the broadcast team tried to make it seem that way. Marlon Mack dominated on the ground. Justin Houston had a big game in his revenge game against his old team, helping to lead the Colts in with the upset win of the week, going into Kansas City and beating Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs 19-13. And then Monday night, you want to talk about dominant performances. The San Francisco 49ers defense planted their flags straight up Baker Mayfield's ass. Jimmy G was solid, efficient, good enough. The 49ers smoked the Browns on primetime 31-3. And that's what you get, national television networks, for scheduling all these early season primetime games with the Browns, a team that had a losing record last year because you bought into all the damn media hype. That's what you get. You deserved it. Now, in terms of the winners and losers from the week that was week number 5, start off with the winners. The Oakland Raiders. All the jokes about John Gruden and the 10-year contract. All the jokes about trading away Khalil Mack. All the jokes about this and all the jokes about that. They go in to London. They run it down the Bears' damn throats. This alleged elite Bears defense. And yeah, even great units will have bad games. But that was a really bad game. Now the Raiders sit there. They're 3-2. They're in second place in their division, and they're in the playoff mix in the AFC. They're big-time winners from week number 5. The Green Bay Packers, they go on the road against a quality opponent like the Dallas Cowboys, and they took it to them. Like they jumped on them early and consistently and didn't let up. The Packers are 4-1, and where I was thinking a couple weeks ago that this team is not that legit, I'm going to have to start eventually changing my opinion if this type of play continues to keep up, as they looked really, really good last Sunday. And then the Indianapolis Colts, all the thought of what's going to happen, losing Andrew Luck to retirement. All the Colts do is they go into Kansas City and they beat one of the 3 remaining unbeaten teams in the league in the Chiefs. I mean, that was impressive work. That's a huge win for that Colts team, a huge win, especially in that kind of clusterfuck dumpster fire that is the AFC South. It's a win like this that can make all the difference coming into the season. The losers, Chicago Bears, 1 week after that dominant performance against a divisional rival Minnesota, their defense went into London and laid a damn egg. The Bears needed that game. They didn't get it. Now they got a lot of questions heading into their bye week, and with the toughest remaining schedule left in the league, the rest of the season, good luck with that. The Pittsburgh Steelers win the turnover battle yet again and still find a way to lose. They're sitting at 1-4. Well, what else can you say? I bet they're really happy that they traded away a first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick now that they're 1-4. You talk about dumbass trades. Stupid. And then the Cleveland Browns. Yet another bad performance in prime time. You look at this Browns team. They're 2-3. Kitchens and his coaching staff looks clearly in over their heads. Baker Mayfield looks scared. He looks like the AFC's version of Trubisky. And if Trubisky's a bust, what the hell is Mayfield? Nothing seems to really be working well for the Browns right now. And while there's still time to right the ship and figure things out, what have you seen that gives you any type of indication that these things are going to go any differently the rest of the year? They needed to, even if they didn't win, they needed to come out and play better than they did. And the 49ers dominated them. They destroyed them. Your top performers for the week. Lots of guys you can go with at quarterback, Deshaun Watson and so forth, but I'll go with Teddy Bridgewater. Just kind of a feel-good story. 26 of 34, 314 yards, 4 touchdowns. And all you know is that since Drew Brees has went out, they've won their last 3 starts under 10. That's all I'm saying. Christian McCaffrey, 237 total yards and 3 touchdowns, making his case, staking his claim early in the season to being an MVP candidate, that's for sure, as the Panthers have now won 3 in a row. Will Fuller of the Houston Texans, 14 receptions, 217 yards, and 3 touchdowns as he helped lead the Texans to a 53-32 victory over the Falcons. This is a monster day. And you might as well get him when you can out of Will Fuller because you know he's only going to play typically 7 to 9 games a year. He gets hurt the rest of the damn time. George Kittle, 6 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Not the biggest of monster days, but he's just a dude, man. And every once in a while, it's just recognize a dude for being the dude, and he's the dude. And then talking about defensive performances, looking at the 49ers. 4 turnovers forced, 4 sacks, only 3 points allowed. I mean, they exposed Baker in that Browns offense. It was bad. It was brutal. That 49ers team is legit. And that 49ers team looks to be pretty good. I don't know if I'm ready to crown them as a true contender just yet, but they most certainly are for real. And they most certainly have to be the favorites right now to win that NFC West. I think that has to be beyond question based off of what we've seen so far. They're the remaining undefeated team in the NFC at 4-0. And looking at this week, looking back on it, talking about the 2-minute drill, it's, again, going to be Baker focused. Because as a Bears fan, seeing plenty of overhyped, overpaid, overrated, crappy quarterbacks, I'm seeing a lot of those same similar traits in Baker Mayfield. And the amount of media hype that he has received has been ridiculous compared to the actual level of production and performance. But what seemed really ridiculous to me in spite of all of that was the big hubbub and buzz and hullabaloo apparently around Richard Sherman saying that Baker Mayfield didn't dap with him or didn't shake his hands before the game, even though you have video footage that clearly show he does. Like, is that where we're at? We're going to focus on things like he didn't shake a hand or he did shake a hand before a game or after a game or whatever the fuck. There's so many more important things to talk about. In large part, it shifts focus away from what should really be the narrative with Baker Mayfield, is how Freddie Kitchens is putting him in bad situations, how that offensive line of the Browns stinks, and how Baker Mayfield is playing like a scared-ass bitch in the pocket. That's what we should be talking about. Because those things are all true. Instead, you got people trying to stir up this controversy about this bullshit almost like it's taking the eye off the ball. And we're not going to focus on these things. And again, I come back to this. All the excuses and everything else that are going to be made for Baker Mayfield, they need to stop. This dude allegedly has so much talent around him. He should be so much better. And I think he has twice as many interceptions as he has touchdowns right now. And when you get teams that get crapped on, like my Bears legitimately so, for passing on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in 2017, the Browns took Myles Garrett. They passed on them both too. I mean, realistically, who would you rather have right now? Would you rather have Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield, or would you rather have Patrick Mahomes or somebody else? The answer, and the only correct answer, is Patrick Mahomes and somebody else. Because granted, Myles Garrett could potentially be a Hall of Famer. And that's great, and that's wonderful. But guys like Mahomes and Watson can be Hall of Famers as quarterbacks, which is an entire different level of performance and an entire different level of importance. We need to stop focusing on the bullshit when it comes to Baker Mayfield and the whole thing. Oh, Nick Bosa planted the flag. Who gives a crap? Focus on the fact that his head coach and his coaching staff stinks. Their offensive line is terrible. And Baker Mayfield is shaping up to look like a really bad bust.